Hi, welcome to the couch with Guramrit and Cari. We're so glad that you joined us today, and we're going to talk about body image, nutrition, health, food, and all those kinds of things. It comes from a conversation that Guramrit and I had a few days ago as we were thinking about things to share with you. And as she and I were talking, I shared with her a story of an experience I had that I want to share with you now. And that is about a year or so ago, I was informed that I have the woe factor. And the woe factor is WHOA. Woman, homosexual, and at the end, the A standing for African American, and the O stood for overweight. The room was filled with about 40 people when this was said to me, and so many of the people said, oh, not about the woman, homosexual, African American, but overweight. And I found that very interesting that people had that kind of response. And several people came to me later and said, oh, is this the kind of thing you've been having to put up with from some of the dear souls here? They found that very disrespectful and said to me, well, what does that have to do with your job? And as I said to Guramrit, I'm not a fitness trainer. And yes, I am very much into wholeness and wellness and regard my body weight and what I eat and all of those things to be a part of how I engage in ministry. But here's one thing I know and have learned more and more and more and more, is that everybody has an issue. Each one of us has something that we're dealing with, and that I don't know what issues and struggles there are in your life or in your life, and I only know mine. And I love the expression from Native American community that says, to understand someone's journey, you have to walk a mile in their moccasin. And in our culture, we make so many judgments about people based on how tall or short they are, how thin or fat they are. And I have to fess up to you, when I was a younger person, before age 30, I used to make judgments about people based on their size. I used to have a lot of judgment toward people who were overweight. I never knew that I would one day become someone with the woe factor. So what do you think about that?
It's funny because sometimes I catch myself and my friends in that same situation where we feel compelled to judge another person without knowing what it is exactly that they're going through. And I mean, it's really hard for somebody to fess up to like, yes, I made that judgment. Because it's true. You're walking down the street and you see people, they're all shapes and sizes. And you're like, geez, that person is fat. But you don't know what happened earlier on in that day for them, what they're experiencing. You don't know how difficult it is for them in their own lifestyle. It's not as though they don't want to improve themselves. There are so many other factors that come into play. And it's so hard for them to even move forward if they're constantly being judged. Same goes for a really, really slim person who's trying to gain weight.
Yeah.
Goes for my boyfriend. He's very tall and very skinny, and he's been trying to gain weight as much as possible. And you're like, well, you know, he's a strong guy. Just because you're skinny doesn't mean that you're not strong. And
yes.
just because you're considered overweight doesn't mean that you're not strong as well. There are other things that really come into play, and it's unfortunate that they're subjected to so many judgments. And it's usually from people who think that they're better than that person.
Yeah.
And it's really not about you. It usually for me, I feel like it signals some sort of insecurity. Mm-hmm. Like I'll catch myself feeling like, oh God, that person's fat. I don't want to be fat. Oh God, I really don't want to be fat. Like I have this image in my head, like I really am afraid to envision myself as a bigger person. And I've finally become more comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
Because for years, it's just, I don't know if it's a woman thing. Women seem to struggle with body image.
Yes.
And self-esteem.
Yes.
So for such a long time, I was just very uncomfortable with myself. Either I was considered too thin, or I gained like a couple pounds, and for my family, it's like, you're getting big. What happened? Oh, your face got fuller. What happened? And then the moment I started exercising more, and I started eating right, and started taking care of myself, I've become, in their eyes, a stingy, skinny person.
Oh wow! You can't satisfy them.
I'm no. They're insatiable. I cannot.
Wow. Well, we're doing this for two reasons. One, to encourage each of us to stop judging people, but also to encourage us to stop beating up on ourselves. No matter what it is, it's not just about body image and size and all of that, but we spend so much time beating up on ourselves or making assumptions about other people based on size. And what our hope is that no matter what size you are or not, that you're eating healthy, but not only in terms of the food that you take in, but also the thoughts. For us to be healthy with how we think, how we eat, how we live and move and have our being in the world. And just to send love to you, to send love to other people. And I appreciate what you were saying when you walk down the street and you might see someone who's overweight, and part of what happens is, oh, I don't want that. And so then, because of the fears that we can have about it, we can very easily start making judgments
Yes.
about other people. And so I encourage you, especially if you are parents or grandparents or friends, it doesn't matter. If you find yourself, when your loved one walks in the door, if you find that the first thing you comment about is that person's size, check that. Send love, not judgment. Just send love. And I remember, and believe it or not, when I was your age, I was your size. I never imagined that I would gain, and I'll tell you on camera, I went to 245 pounds. I never imagined it. Never ever. And especially when I was 115, there was no way I could have imagined that I would do that. And I'm tell you now, I weigh 225 now. I got a lot of work to do, and I'm very intentional in saying what the weight is, because I want to help people not have any shame. Be where you are and know what your best is, and strive for that, not based on society and body image, but really ask your body, what's the right size for me? And what are the things that I need to do with my thoughts, with my food, with my exercise, with the people in my life, on and on and on, my spiritual practice, that help me live that out so I live as fully and as healthy and as happy as possible.
That really stood out to me when you are very conscious about that number. Because for me, I think about what makes me feel very comfortable. I do not like weighing myself. It's something I'm just not comfortable doing. Because every time I go to the doctor and they weigh me, and for your height and for your size and for your age, you're supposed to weigh such and such. I'm like, well, I feel fine.
Right.
Like, I work out 4 times a week. I eat healthy. I take care of myself. Why is that not enough? Why is that number so important that we obsess and we fester and we just become like these crazy people trying to really get a number down to a place that just doesn't fit you?
Yeah.
Even though I've gone down, like from February, I have lost about 15 pounds. At the time of my doctor's appointment, he was telling me I weighed 137. I felt okay. And now I'm down to 122 and I feel better. But that's not because of the number, the obsession of the number, but because I started paying attention to the other things that were contributing to my weight and contributing to my health. Everything is connected. Yeah. Your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional, what you eat, what's on your plate isn't necessarily the only thing that contributes to your physical health.
And so we just want you to send love to you and to others, no matter what the size or the package, and know that you are wonderful and awesome. Bye. Talk to you on the couch next time.